Playwright August Wilson has given a great gift to the world in general and to America in particular with his 10-play cycle that chronicles the African American experience throughout the decades of the 20th century. He does this through a politics of love, what I like to call a politics of love. That is his love for Black culture, Black experience, and Black people in America. And he expresses his love for Black people in the theme of love in many of his plays, and suggests that this love can be used to overcome many of the problems that Black people face. What's important about his use of love is that romantic love, father-to-son love, or community love, is that love was something that was restricted to or restricted from African Americans during slavery and even after slavery, where they weren't allowed to have control over their romantic and sexual agency, or even the love they could express towards their family members who were sometimes or oftentimes sold into slavery and away from them. But bringing love back into the picture actually completes the image or the idea of Black humanity. And those are many of the things that August Wilson expresses. And I'd like to read a couple of them. One is from one of his latest plays, Gem of the Ocean, where Aunt Hester, the 360-year-old plus spiritual advisor, is talking about romantic love with one of her suitors, Sally, two kings, Aunt Hester. She running down there to see Percy Sanders. You can't keep a man and a woman apart. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Every time I see you, it make me feel good. You tell that to all the women. You must not have none on Wiley Avenue. I got two, one for each arm. Everybody know that. If I lived for a woman, I couldn't live for the people. The Bible said you can't serve two masters. Come on, let's get married. I was thinking about living my life for you, but I got to go back down there and get my sister. Well, come on back and get some of these pig feet. I want more than pig feet, but I don't think you gonna give me none. Go on, you old rascal. That's an example of romantic love mixed with love for the community. In this next episode from August Wilson's King Hedley II, the protagonist King is talking to his girlfriend Tanya, who expresses a different kind of love. King, I ain't gonna stop living. The world ain't gonna change and all of a sudden get better because I be somebody's daddy. But I ain't gonna stop living. I'm just trying to do my job, get you the things you want. Tanya, King, you don't understand. I don't want everything. That's not why I'm living, to want things. I done lived 35 years without things. I got enough for me. I just want to wake up in the bed beside you in the morning. I don't need things. I saw what they cost. I can live without them and be happy. I ain't asking you to stop living. The things I want, you can't buy with money. And it seemed like they be the hardest to get. Why? When they be the simplest. Do your job, but understand what it is. It ain't for you to go out there and steal money to get me things. Your job is to be around so this baby know you its daddy. Be that. Do that. For once somebody do that, that's how you be a man. Anything else, I don't want. This last expression of love comes from his Pulitzer Prize-winning drama, Fences, where Troy, the protagonist, talks to his son, Corey, who asks him if he likes him. Corey, can I ask you a question? What the hell you want to ask me? How come you ain't never liked me? Liked you? Who the hell say I gotta like you? What law is there say I gotta like you? None. Well, all right then. Do you eat every day? Yes, sir. You got a roof over your head? Yes, sir. Got clothes on your back? Yes, sir. What you think that is? Cause of you? Oh, hell, I know it's cause of me. But why do you think that is? Cause you like me? Like you? I go out here every morning, bust my butt, putting up with them crackers every day cause I like you? You about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job, my responsibility. You understand that? A man got to take care of his family. You live in my house, sleep your behind in my bedclothes, fill up your belly with my food, cause you my son. You my flesh and blood. Not cause I like you, cause it's my duty to take care of you. This wonderful gift that August Wilson has given to the world and to America can be read and interpreted through a politics of love. And I think loving Black culture, Black art, and the Black experience is what makes his work truly, truly outstanding.
David Bradley is a novelist of combustible collisions within African American culture. He finds within the confrontations, the insecurities, the uncertainties, the inconsistencies of Black life, a truth, a verity that is worthy of celebration, and that is also the substance of progress. Within his novel, The Chaneyville Incident, he dramatizes the odyssey of historian John Washington, who moves from a rural Pennsylvania setup and finds not only the crisis of his life, but also the greatest epiphany of his life in the confrontation between the past and the present. In the scene that I will read from his 1982 novel, The Chaneyville Incident, which won the 1983 PEN/Faulkner Award, Johnny Washington, a 9-year-old boy who becomes the adult protagonist of this novel, is confronting for the first time his mentor, Old Jack, a man who has been a lifelong friend of Johnny Washington's father and who has now been entrusted by Johnny's father, Moses, with the job of indoctrinating Johnny into the ways of the world. We sat there for a while, drinking the toddies. I found myself getting sleepy, but I struggled to keep my eyes open. Presently, he got up and mixed another toddy for each of us. By the time I was halfway through it, the room was starting to swim, and the heat from the stove was becoming thick. "He like you," Old Jack said suddenly. "What?" I said. "Your daddy, he like you. He was proud of you, and he was worried about you. That was just about the last thing he said to me. Probably the last thing he said to anybody." He took a sip from his cup. "He come over here with a jug. Guess that was the last jug of Moses Washington Black Lightning left. He come in here and we talked for a while. He was talking about you. Said you was too much your mama's child. Said he was worried you was going to end up being a preacher or a sissy or something on account of the way that women carried on around you, fussing with your clothes and fixing your food and things that a man ought to do for himself. Said he wasn't worried about your brother. There wasn't enough woman in him for it to be dangerous, but you was different. He said there was a lot of woman in you. He didn't mean nothing bad by that, just meant that you was the kind that trusted people, kind that believed there was always going to be somebody to help you get through things. It ain't just women that thinks that way. There's a lot of panty-waisted fellas running around these days, get into trouble, and all they know to do is to pray to Jesus or the government. But women's the only ones that can afford it on account of they know that there's going to be a man around somewhere to haul their wagon out of the mud, and that when the whistle blows, they get first crack at the lifeboats. I ain't actually saying it's wrong for a man to believe that, but it's damn dangerous on account of he can't afford it. A man can't carry himself. Folks laugh at him. The women won't have nothing to do with him because what they want is a man that can haul their wagon out of the mud. Anyways, that was what your daddy was afraid was going to happen. You spend so much time with women that the woman would come out in you and you'd end up rubbing your hands and crying instead of doing so much you wasn't never going to be able to do for yourself. Wasn't going to end up fit for nothing except turning over to another woman and going to work for a white man. That's what he said. Said you had a lot of woman in you, but you had one hell of a lot of man in you to go with it. He said some of the things you done, things he was real proud of. You know what they was? No, I said, wondering how Moses Washington had seen me do anything, since I had learned early on that the best way to get along with him was to stay pretty much out of sight. He told me about them books you read, told me how you go down there to the library and steal the ones they say you ain't old enough to read. And if you get one and you start it, then by God, you finish it. Even if you don't know what the hell it's all about, and you read them over and over again until you think you do. He liked that. Told me how when your brother give you a licking, you wouldn't say nothing to nobody. You just wait till didn't nobody think you was mad anymore, and then you clobber that boy good. He liked that. He surely did. Because he did say he had to whoop you for your clobbering with that there axe handle, but he didn't mind you getting the idea, not at all. He liked all that because he just about had to. On account of that was just the way he was. He smiled at me. You know what he said he liked best about you? No, I said. He said he liked the way you hated him. I didn't say anything. He didn't mind. Most folks hated him. I hated him some myself. He was a real hateable man.